No, no, here he is. Are you serious? Are you serious, folks? Welcome this evening. We have got a special presentation for you today, where things are getting so crazy out there that we have to go get experts now to find out what is really going on. And certainly with all of the earthquake swarms that have been hitting California, and now with the volcanism on the rise like nothing we've ever seen before, truly, when I look at the Bible, I can see where this was prophesied to happen, that the earth would shake and quake, and that there would be these earthquakes in diverse places, and all of this turmoil and catastrophic events. But the swarms of earthquakes in California have brought great concern for so many people. And now the volcanism, the Italy, you got Stromboli and these others that are going off. Volcanoes. You had a volcano asthma over there in Japan. And look at this. Near Bakersfield, today, more earthquakes. Near the Naval Air Warfare Center Lake, of course, China Lake, people are talking about it. That major quake that hit a few weeks ago there, Ridgecrest, California, and that it seems to be awakening these volcanoes all up and down the coast. The Cascadia subduction zone, Italy, and now the discovery of 6 new volcanoes 20 kilometers off the coast of Sicily near Italy. I mean, what's going on here? So look, are you serious? Let's get Stan Deyo in here. Let's get some answers from somebody who knows what they're doing. Stan, welcome to the broadcast. Great to have you on.
Well, it's good to be here. We certainly have a lot of news happening around us, and certainly want to talk about it today. The Earth is definitely the source of most of the news stories, I think, for today.
When you look at these things, Stan, and you've been studying, seismology, you've been studying earthquakes and volcanoes and all these different events, and the sun, of course, with the solar flares, CMEs. But have you ever, look, we've always had earthquakes and volcanoes, but not to the magnitude we have now. And does this concern you about California or the West Coast?
Oh, it does. I talked, first of all, we'll go to the earthquakes, then we'll go to the volcanoes, but the earthquakes in this California, I don't know what you call it, flare-up or a series of major earthquake zones. There were 3 of them there near the China Lake military base. But there have been, since the 10th of July, 12,700 earthquakes over Richter 1 in that area. And if you go to USGS and plot it yourself from July the 20th to August the 8th, Richter 1 or better, you'll see this huge pattern of spread out around those 3 zones there of these earthquakes. Now, why did they happen? Well, I looked at some other stuff that I've been studying as far as geothermal sources of energy in California. And that's where you have very hot magma pools close to the surface so that they can pump water down into them, and it turns to steam and drives a generator, and you get energy off of the magma. Well, there's one of those pools. It's 52 miles long under the surface there where those earthquakes occurred. And, it shows that the plate, the edge of the American plate, tectonic plate, is splitting in 2 places on either side of the Sierra Nevadas. The San Andreas fault line and the parallel fault lines that are on the west side of the Sierra Nevadas, and this is starting on the east side. Now, there are, I think, 7 places that have volcanoes or magma fields there in California that they say can be used for thermal energy, but that's because the magma's up close to the surface. So when you see it start to crack in 2 places parallel on that, off on the coast there, I am concerned that the big one they're talking about is going to happen, and that we're going to not see California fall off entirely into the ocean, but we're going to start seeing fractures that will open up and make islands, and some seawater will leak in, and so you will have islands where California is, a solid state at the moment. This is indicative of a much bigger problem coming to play here than just simple tectonic stresses and subduction zone. We're seeing an expansion of the Earth's surface, the core diameter, I think, that's splitting old dormant volcanoes and stuff are becoming active because of the splitting or thinning of the Earth's crust as it expands.
Where do you? This is fascinating. So that this water that's under the surface of the Earth, and the magma's rising, and that could be being caused by a lot of reasons. I mean, it could be from the tons of waves of energy that's hitting the Earth, or the solar waves, and the magneto shield is throwing it into the core of the Earth and heating up the core and heating up the magma. The magma's rising. This area that you say could cause a massive earthquake that could literally open up a fissure, allowing seawater to come in and create islands. Where do you see those weak areas as potentially happening, and what kind of an island would it leave? I mean, are we talking cities would be left on an island somewhere, or where's the fissures?
Well, where these 12,600 or 700 earthquakes have occurred over the last 28 days or so, there is a fault line that connects the first one of those groups of three that happened there. It goes above Los Angeles and out toward the San Andreas fault line, and it joins through what's called the Garlock Fault, which runs at right angles to these two fault zones on either side of the Sierra Nevadas. So that area there is going to be weakened, and I think that low-lying areas, particularly in Southern California, where the crust is very thin, and it is very thin down there, San Diego region and out to the east of there. So this may be where we start to see water influx. Certainly San Francisco and the Bay in that area may see that 16-foot high pile of rock that keeps the Pacific Ocean from filling the San Joaquin Valley. We may see that break and fill the San Joaquin Valley with water. I mean, it wasn't but a few hundred years ago that it had water anyway, that it was filled with water. So those areas are two zones, the San Francisco region into the San Joaquin, and then south of San Diego a little bit and east of it.
That would cause, I mean, that would, the San Francisco area, I mean, that would be devastating. That would create, I mean, would you see this being a slow seep, or do you see that a big one and a massive rush of water?
I think in the beginning it will be like a small, slow flow, and small enough that the engineers might be able to block it with something. But definitely property values in the San Joaquin are going to be at risk, and in Southern California, and also up near the Mendocino Fault in North California, the border to Oregon. There are a number of active earthquake zones that I think are going to get worse. I've already been telling people that I know it's time to sell your property and get out while you can get a good value for it and get east of the Sierras, because not only are we having this earthquake problem, but part of the creation for these earthquakes is increased magmatic activity in the cascaded subduction zone and the volcanoes in Oregon, up to Mount St. Helens in Washington, and all through California. There are at least 7 volcanoes there that we're having a watch on, and Popocatépetl down in Mexico City is active as well. It's a long string of things telling you that the plate is starting to split there. That's why the magma is coming up and can form volcanoes as it escapes through the crust. There is something definitely wrong, and there are several schools of thought. One of the less popular ones, but one that I agree with, is papers saying that all planets and stars expand as they age, and as they expand, of course, it splits the surface.
Right.
I think that's what we're seeing now.
Is there, and of course, there's always the conversation now, the waves of energy, the charged particles, and the anticipation of whether it's a binary system with putting a massive gravitational pull on all of our planets, our sun, certainly our moon and our Earth. Whether it's Planet X, Nibiru, or some binary system, but is this possibly playing a role in the expansion of these planets, and not just age alone, but just are we getting a ton of gravitational pull on the planet?
Well, I haven't seen any papers or even heard whispers that would indicate that. I do know that Neptune and Uranus, their orbits, and Pluto as well, as a moon or planet, whatever you want to call it, those 2 or 3 orbital bodies around our star, their orbits are compressed and kind of, from an external force, they are not what they should be. They're pressed more toward the sun. And so this perturbation, they call it, from an unknown source is what the scientific community is trying to decide whether it's a star, a dense star, a star that we can't see, part of a binary star system with our sun, as you mentioned. I don't know that officially that we have decided that yet, but we do know something massive is out on the extremity of our solar system, and it is impinging on the orbits of the 2 to 3 planets that are outer planets.
So this could be.
That could do it, yeah.
Yeah, but bottom line is whether we don't know what, as you say, like we don't know for sure. Something seems to definitely be out there. We can't see it, but something's impinging, something's pulling heavily, affecting. But one thing's for sure. We can identify here on Earth some areas that are really, really concerning. And you brought up the Cascadia subduction zone, which certainly lately, Stan, we've seen quite a few earthquakes there that are right on it too. Right off the coast of Oregon there, or Vancouver. There was a 6.2 off the coast of Vancouver Island. I mean, this is starting to get serious. Should people be aware of this?
Well, they should be, and I am aware that the USGS, our government, is aware of the increasing threat. One of the problems that you have if you're running USGS or our government is that you have to try to hold a stable government, not have anarchy break out by telling people how bad it really is, openly and efficiently. But now things can be leaked to people like me and Steve Quell and you behind the scenes, and we check it out and it looks to be good. And so we put the word out to our listeners and our listeners' friends and that kind of stuff. So it's a slow, unofficial release of the threat danger. But we're now within 20 years of the outside that USGS officially gives for the San Andreas fault and possibly for the Juan de Fuca plate to release the energy and form all these big earthquakes. So as unofficial sources, we can tell you and warn people and tell you specifically what is happening, and in our opinion, from our unofficial sources. And should people start to panic, and that's always a possibility, the government can come and say, look, this isn't official. Deyo doesn't know squat. He doesn't work for us. And they can kind of defuse it. And so it's a safe way to release the information slowly and get people to react wisely. Those who are in the know and check it out and realize it's time to move. And certainly in California, you couldn't pay me to live anywhere in California. And certainly Oregon and Washington are on the coast are at risk as well, what's coming. So west of the Sierras, and the Rockies out that way, you just don't want to be there. You want to be as far east as you can over the Rockies.
Folks, Stan Deyo's with us. Of course, his website is www.empshield.com. And he does a tremendous job with these patented products to help people to take care of your products. I'm talking about your components, your electronics, everything that's in your house that makes things work. In case of, let's say, a massive solar flare, a Carrington event, or some type of major solar stream, winds coming from the sun, or even an EMP attack, which may have been what happened in Venezuela. We're going to ask Stan about that, but first we got a video from his website. Let's play that now.
Hey everybody, I'm Andrew from EMP Shield, and today I'm excited to show you our new technology, the world's first whole home EMP protection device. With over 37 models that can be used around the world, our family of EMP protection devices installs easily in minutes. being employed this year by federal organizations and electrical companies. The EMP Shield has been tested at Keystone Compliance, a federally approved DoD testing facility. Also serving as one of the world's fastest whole home surge protection devices, working in less than 1 nanosecond, the EMP Shield will protect against electromagnetic pulses, coronal mass ejections, lightning, and all forms of power surges. Proven to withstand more than 40 EMP strikes with zero degradation, the EMP Shield is also one of the world's strongest surge protectors, capable of withstanding over 100,000 amps. So, thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like our video and post any comments you have down below. We're sure you guys are going to have quite a few questions, so our engineers are going to be on standby to answer any questions you may have. Most importantly, be sure to share our video, as we're sure your friends are also going to be interested in our new technology. Help us get an EMP Shield into every house in America. Thanks again for watching. Bye.
Folks, there you go. It's a great company stand you have, and again, these products he has available at EMPshield.com. Use the promo code Begley and save some serious money on your purchases. You have EMP protection for the home, for people's cars, and for now ham radios. Is that right?
That's correct. And we have a special on our website. If you're getting one, if you're getting more than one of these shields from us, 2 or more of them, you get an extra 10% over what you're getting with your code. So it's a good way to save, between $80 and $100 on the purchase of 1 or 2 of them. So, it'd be good to look at the site and the specials offered. We've been developing this one for ham radio for some time because Tim and I are both ham radio guys, and he works with government first responders on shortwave as well. And the big problem we all were worrying about was the breakdown of communications between various communities when an EMP wipes out everything that's normal radio and telephone and TV. And so the shortwave networks are going to be invaluable to the community. And that's why Tim has spent so much time developing the ham radio EMP shield to preserve the communication. But he's also, early in the piece, he made a direct current version of our EMP shield to work with solar panel power systems, to protect those and the inverter and the combiners that go with them. And for the windmill type things, all that we've been aiming at is what we need to do or make to protect the communities, give them power and communications, and with the power they can have food and water as well. So, I mean, I can't explain everything that we're doing with the government, but I assure you, we've been in meetings in Washington and with the Air Force and Department of Defense for several months now discussing all this. So it's an important thing, and we charge you for it. We charge as minimum as we can and still pay the salary for our 26 factory workers and stuff. But it is essential that you look at this to preserve your alternate power supplies for yourself, your neighbors, and friends. You're going to be reconstruction centers if you have power of any kind after one of these things hits us. So it's extremely important.
There's, folks, again, go to emp.shield. That's emp.com, excuse me. EMPshield.com, EMPshield.com, or pick up the phone and call this number, and that's 620-412-9978. Okay, that's 620-412-9978. But if you go to www.empshield.com, use that promo code Begley and get some help, okay? Getting what you need to protect your home, protect your car, and protect your means of communication through ham radio in the event of an attack. And with Rocket Man firing rockets again, here we go again. And what is the Russians doing? Stan, we've actually got a video of that explosion that took place in Siberia, and we want to get your opinion of it. So, Brock, can you play that video for us? Let's take a look at this and get Stan's opinion on this explosion in Russia. you could see that was like, I mean, that's definitely a mushroom cloud. And then the when the aftershock hits, it's just off the charts strong. So
you know, I didn't see that that particular video. I saw one from a cell phone that it was a smaller explosion or cloud. Where did you get that thing? I'll have a look at it.
It's on YouTube, and I'll send it to you. You want to see it right now? What's the name of this product? That way he can take a look at it right now and can explain what he saw. Brock, what's the name of this YouTube channel? Because I don't have it in front of me. Write it down and bring it in here. Okay, but Stan, it is. We'll have him bring that in here in a second. He'll bring that YouTube channel to us. But it's definitely a mushroom cloud with an aftershock that hits. Now, whether or not it's a small, I'm wondering if Russia's testing dirty nukes or little nukes or briefcase nukes. I don't know what they're doing. Obviously Putin has been outside the INF treaty for a while, and now Trump's walked away from the IMF. So we're getting in, and we got, what else, Stan? We got these guys pointing, we got India and Pakistan going at it. So It's getting dangerous, isn't it?
It is. Now, this Russian thing, now, the first reports I read a couple of days ago on this, it showed a smaller cloud than a mushroom cloud, as far as I could tell. And they said officially that some gunpowder bins had caught fire, and their explosion triggered a bigger explosion with some of the other, munitions or weapons they had there.
No,
I do think they have missiles there, but other than that, I hadn't heard any more about it being like a nuclear thing. But if you say there was a shockwave that came like that, it could well.
I want you to
nuclear.
Yeah, I want you to see it. If you got your YouTube there, go to the name of the video is "Massive Explosion in Russia." It's August the 5th. It was posted, and it has 40,000 views. It's called "Massive Explosion in Russia."
All right,
take a look at that.
Yeah, Army warehouse full video. Is that the one?
No, it don't say that. It says massive explosion.
Hold on. Holy cow!
That's not a depot having an accident.
Oh, that's big. That had all the earmarks of about a 10 kiloton nuke. Look at that.
I'm serious. That's not an accident at a warehouse depot. I mean, that's a test.
Well, whether it was a test or can you hear this guy on my video?
I heard him. I can't understand. No, I can't hear him. Okay, so.
Okay, I didn't know where they came through on this because I can hear it in my earphones. But this Russian is pretty excited, and I can see why. Wow. Boy, that was a show. Yeah, so
we're dealing with something else going on here. The Russians are stepping up their game, it looks like, as far as testing, Stan. And they like to do those out in Siberia, but there was a rocket this afternoon, 4 hours ago. They had a rocket exploded. 2 people are dead and 8 people are hospitalized. And it in Russia again, out in Russia, and it rained black rain down from the sky. Now this happened 4 or 5 hours ago. So they're getting aggressive with their testing or something.
Well, yeah, and Siberia is not a good place to be doing it because they've got at least 100 forest fires that are going all over Siberia at the moment, releasing huge amounts of smoke, even though, in fact, the United States has offered to help Putin try to put them out. But I'm looking at that video again, and I'll tell you what, boy, the speed of the halo that came, the shockwave out in the air, and then later the boom. That was either an accident in a missile storage area or a test, as you say.
And could it be they're working on little nukes? And what I mean by that, like small, dirty bombs or dirty nukes or little nukes, not the big ones.
Well, yeah, they have a whole classification called tactical nukes, which can be used in a battlefield where you shoot it out of a howitzer. I mean, it's at low yield, but wherever it hits, it's still a nuclear explosion. Now, the dirty nukes, I don't know if they would be testing them in this manner. They're more low yield, but throw radioactive particles everywhere. I mean, you can have a dirty bomb rather than a dirty nuke, and the dirty bomb just blows radioactive dust everywhere and pollutes the area for 30 to 50 to 100 years, depending on what radioactive materials they use, spent cesium or whatever. Yeah, look, I don't know what this is. I think more of this will probably come out as time passes here, but I mean, where we are here in Colorado, we're close to like 45 minutes from Cheyenne Mountain and from NORAD and the Army base here. And we hear more and more helicopters, big heavy-duty transport helicopters at night, and a lot of booms as they test, I guess, tank or other types of devices that are exploding there on the Army base range just across the highway from us at night. So things are being stepped up here as well as in Russia, getting prepared for something.
Stan, also, Venezuela recently had another blackout. There was some concern that maybe it was an EMP, but tell people, when an EMP explodes overhead, I mean, it's going to fry people's components, right? I mean, for the most part.
Well, it will short circuit, destroy in essence radios, TVs, cell phones, computers, even smart refrigerators and freezers and things. In addition to cutting off your power so they won't work anyway. In Venezuela, they may have had a directed EMP attack, which is different than a nuclear type. The Raytheon Corporation, probably 12 years ago, was developing and testing a portable EMP focused beam, which is it shot microwaves out of a guided a cruise missile, and they could focus on a single building and wipe out all the electronics in that building with an EMP pulse, which is a microwave pulse, but not destroy everything else in the city. So there may have been directed EMP attacks on the current president down there in Venezuela, or his facilities and his power stations, to create problems that force the people to get rid of him. I don't know. You can have, as I say, local EMP attack from a cruise missile type thing, issuing a microwave burst, and that may have been used there so that they still have infrastructure to use once they change the government.
Well, there's no question there's an attempt going on, because President Trump yesterday signs an embargo, basically just shutting down all supplies basically to Venezuela now, not just oil or arms or what have you, but we're talking food supply, everything. So the squeeze is on. Apparently the major squeeze is on now to try to get rid of Maduro. And, Maduro recently visited the Pope about 2 weeks ago. I think he was looking for one last blessing of hope. I don't know. But I think he's going to go. And I'm getting some reports that, I know Juan Guaido was originally what the president said and recognized by 50 nations as the next president. But we're getting rumors. I'm getting some rumors from some folks that's telling me out of Washington that this Darcy Rodriguez might actually get the job because she's kind of in the middle. Have you got any information coming to you about what's going on in Venezuela?
No, not much at all. I'm kind of at the mercy of the press at the moment.
Obviously, folks, there can be volcanoes also. We want to talk to Stan about that because he's been studying not only what's going on all along the swarms of the California, but recently now yesterday it was released, there were 6 new volcanoes off the coast of Italy. Italy, as you said, Mount Stromboli, and I forgot the other one, Etna.
Yeah, Etna.
Yeah, they're both active. They're both erupting. So how volatile and what's going on with all this volcanism, Stan?
Well, one of particular interest is in my show images page for you on slide 52. It's about water, a lake being discovered inside the Hawaiian volcano, Kilauea. And should this water reservoir crack and leak into the magma chamber, it will create a steam volcanic eruption, which is one of the worst kinds to have. It is really powerful, and it will blow the heck out of the island there, the big island. And so any of these awakening dormant or extinct volcanoes that are awakening now could also run the risk of taking water, local water, and turning it into this steam. I think they call it a phreatic eruption. Another place that is at danger of this is Lake Taupo in North Island, New Zealand. And we've been watching that for several months now as earthquakes increase north of the island along the kind of plate boundaries there that go from White Island up into the Kermadec. If that erupts, if Lake Taupo, which is a caldera, erupts, it has a whole lake on top of it, and if it breaks, which I think what's going to happen is it will, first of all, it will lower the lake level suddenly by holes opening up to let the water fall into the magma pool underneath Lake Taupo.
Right.
And when that happens, it will blow the heck out of everything. It'll throw stones the size of a house miles away.
What?
Yeah, it's going to be huge. I'm telling you, it's a super volcano like Yellowstone, and they've sent a German submarine. They hired it from Germany there in the GNS. That's like their USGS down there in North Island, and they went under the water and started checking temperatures of vents that were very hot water coming up from underneath the lake. And they also, from this, they determined that they're looking at a possible eruption of that in the next 10 years or less. And now, they did this. They had the equipment and the money to get that submarine, because I was down there back in 1996 or 7, and I was researching the Lake Taupo thing because of a dream vision I'd had of the place, and I never knew about it, never been to New Zealand at the time, but I saw the water recede and become very hot, and then boom, and so it was such a real thing. I went over to see what I saw in the dream, and I found a motel right on the edge of the Lake Taupo, which is still there. I'm trying to remember the Spanish type name to it, but it was an unusual thing in that it was a Mexican or Spanish style motel right on the side of the lake there. And I had seen this. I saw the name of it. I saw the inside of it. I saw where the floor safe was hot behind the cash register. All of this in a dream vision. And I went there with Holly, and sure enough, there it was, the exact place, the exact building, the hot safe behind the counter. We talked to the girls about it. And that evening, we were staying in another hotel a little bit further north of there. But we came back and we're walking along the shore behind this motel there on Lake Taupo, and steam was coming up around our feet in the sand as we walked. So I wasn't sure whether this thing was fixing to put us in orbit then or not. So I was doing a show with Art Bell at the time, that night, and I told him about this. And then Holly and I decided it would be better if we went up to Auckland. So put some
got out of
distance.
there.
So we put the money for a motel room on the table in the room, and left a note to the front desk because they were closed at that time, and said, "Look, our fee, our bill is paid for in our room. Go get it there." We had a business meeting to go to, and off we went.
Yeah.
Well, some people there in town were listening to me talk on Art Bell about it that night, and so. Anyway, we waited a couple of days and it didn't blow up, so we went back down and to the same motel. And when we knocked on the door and came into the motel office there, the lady that owned it said, "Oh, we're so glad to see you." And I said, "Why?" He said, "Well, we heard about you talking about the earthquake and the volcano, and well, when you left suddenly like that at night, we figured we were fixing to go into orbit." So,
what's amazing, Stan, is you had a vision and dream about a lake in New Zealand. And you saw the hotel, you've seen it all, you get there, and the very thing you saw under the lake is happening and getting closer. And so you've kept a close eye on this for the last 20 years.
Well, I forgot that I got sidetracked there, but the GNS didn't have any budget to put a submarine down there to look at things, or to put warning sensors along the feed lakes, to the volcanic fields. They have like what they call the craters of the moon there, which is like geothermal energy coming up from the magma under New Zealand. Anyway, they had no budget, and the government had just paid $100 million to move the government house 100 feet one way or the other from where it was. And it was stupid because we know that the danger was there. I went and I talked with the GNS there, and I told them what I had seen in my vision. I said, this is going to sound strange, but here's what the deal is. Well, the Tourism Department of New Zealand contacted me shortly thereafter and said, look, please don't ever come back to New Zealand. You're bad for tourism. And it caused a stink, and the newspapers reported it. But surprise, surprise, they decided to give the GNS a big budget to investigate Lake Taupo and to prepare for this, which, because of my activity there, they have done this. They surveyed the bottom of the lake, and they have sensors around, and they've now started planning, like escape plans for people should it start to erupt, and early warning. So it did serve the purpose, and then I got an email through a European lady down there who was dealing with the Maoris, and the Maori kahuna woman said, he is right. There's going to be a tremendous explosion here of Lake Taupo, a huge explosion, and we will know about the time it's going to happen because in China there will be a dam failure, and there will be a scandal over the people involved in it using lower grade wood and timbers and stuff for their building to pocket the rest of the money. Anyway, when that happens, know that the New Zealand quake is about to happen. So. Or earthquakes and volcano. It's a simultaneous thing.
Wow. Folks, Stan Deyo with us, really helping us out here. Understanding, it's so great that God works this way, Stan, that people get dreams and visions and understanding. So I guess when God showed you and gave you information on how to build these protectors, the shield. This is the reason for this. The Bible says it's the Lord that gives us witty inventions, and these are to help us with. It is the Lord that gives this. And so, folks, if you don't have an EMP shield on your house or on your car, or if you have ham radios for communication, then now he has one for that. Why don't you do it today? Go to www.empshield.com. Just go to www.empshield.com. Use the promo code Begley. That way you get a real good discount and purchase. It's very easy to install and purchase the EMP. You can get an electrician to install it for you if you need to, or you probably don't even have to have an electrician do it. Very easy to do, but certainly well worth the protection of your appliances in case of a solar CME event or an EMP attack. Stan, let's play this video again, Brock. Let's play that again. Here it is. Here's a video to help you understand from EMPshield.com.
Hey, everybody. I'm Andrew from EMP Shield, and today I'm excited to show you our new technology, the world's first whole home EMP protection device. With over 37 models that can be used around the world, our family of EMP protection devices installs easily in minutes. Being employed this year by federal organizations and electrical companies, the EMP Shield has been tested at Keystone Compliance, a federally approved DoD testing facility. Also serving as one of the world's fastest whole home surge protection devices, working in less than 1 nanosecond, the EMP Shield will protect against electromagnetic pulses, coronal mass ejections, lightning, and all forms of power surges. Proven to withstand more than 40 EMP strikes with zero degradation, the EMP Shield is also one of the world's strongest surge protectors, capable of withstanding over 100,000 amps. So, thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like our video and post any comments you have down below. We're sure you guys are going to have quite a few questions, so our engineers are going to be on standby to answer any questions you may have. Most importantly, be sure to share our video, as we're sure your friends are also going to be interested in our new technology. Help us get an EMP Shield into every house in America. Thanks again for watching. Bye.
All right. Great company, no doubt about it. And it can really help you folks. So again, go to their website, www.empshield.com. Use the promo code Begley and get a real nice discount on the products he has there to protect your home. You talked about Art Bell there, Stan, for a minute. I just got a phone call this afternoon, actually, from George Norrie to be a guest on Coast to Coast this coming Monday night.
Okay.
Yeah, nice. I was on about a year ago, but they want me to come back on, talk a little bit more about the Middle East peace deal and the earthquakes prophetically, and now the fox that was at the Temple Mount and different things going on, and where's the red heifer and all that. So just so you folks know, I will be a guest on Coast to Coast AMN Radio next Monday night, August 12th. I think that starts at midnight California time. So if you're East Coast, I go live at 3 a.m. What? I don't know how I'm going to do that. Stan, what else is going on? You obviously are watching all of these events going on around the world with the earthquakes, the things. You're studying these lakes. Are you what's the most dangerous area now? Is it Cascadia subduction zone? Is that lake down New Zealand? Is it Yellowstone? Is it Italy? Is it California? Where's the most dangerous area right now to watch?
Interesting question. I guess you're talking about geophysical events versus warfare?
Yes. Okay, we'll ask you for both. What's the most dangerous thing to watch in warfare, and what is it with the with the effects of the geophysical world?
Well, if you'll look, I don't know whether you can see it, but on my show images page for you, down at slide 40, I have a picture of a grapefruit-sized hailstone up in Edmonton in Canada.
Yeah.
And it's a result of some stratospheric reaching clouds that have updrafts that take ice or smaller hailstones, hook them together, freeze them together, and then drop them on your cars and houses like bombs. Now, this isn't a 52-pound one like they talk about in the prophecies in the Bible.
There it is.
But you can see that we're amping up to this.
There it is. We got it on the screen the old-fashioned way. They were just I put the picture in front of the camera. There, that thing's huge. That's huge, Dan.
I didn't see your hailstone there, but it's the size of a grapefruit. Anyway, it looked like something about the EMP shield, not the grapefruit.
Yeah, we got it off your website. It's bigger than the person's hand. It's like a grapefruit.
Right. Okay. Well, now this is a symptom to me of increasing bad weather. Now, we have seen, personally experienced this only in our gardening and our orchard and things, where the climate is shifting and are changing, should I say. And why? I've tracked it back to the high frequency and the UVC and above coming from the sun, the ultraviolet light. In the high frequency range of light coming from the sun, the most unstable frequency range is in the high UV. The heat or infrared is pretty stable. We can watch it come and go. But this UV at the top is oscillating all over the place. And we found out that bees need certain types of UV radiation to see where to get their nectar. And that plants react to certain types of UV radiation. If it gets to be too much in one frequency or another, it starts to stunt plant growth. And, surprise, surprise, a lot of our watermelon and cantaloupe plants, they flowered, but they didn't get pollinated. So I pollinated them with a vibrating toothbrush to try to make them work, and it still doesn't make fruit. We're now, way into the season. People have got watermelons in their home already, eating them. We have none forming on our vines. Our peach trees are like stunted growth. They came late and they are smaller. Our tomatoes were very late coming, and we're just now harvesting in the last week to 10 days our tomatoes, the first time. And other places are seeing a bonanza, garden and crop. But the majority of growers in the United States, certainly in the Middle American flyover zone, they are hurting, losing farms and crops from either flooding or from this UV radiation, interfering with the germination process.
Yeah.
That's a thing that's going to hit your pocketbook pretty quick. You're going to see food prices rise. You're going to see certain foods disappear from the shelf, and your Walmarts and Safeways and things like that, because they aren't going to be there. And this trade deal with China, of course, is hurting imports, and Walmart, most of that's China stuff, so they're hurting as well. I think we may be seeing a reversal of this bonanza, in our economy because of these weather changes and because of the trade, or the tariffs on China. and they're devaluing the yuan to fight back. These kind of things are getting into the political realm and into the warfare realm. So we might even see this is the time when Russia and China get together, and maybe Iran, and destroy America.
Wow. Okay, but that I would say then, that, and we do see coalitions being built between the Russians, the Iranians, and Turkey, and we do see that some big deals have been signed between Russia and China, and Iran's right there. Obviously, Russia and Iran are very close, and China, and you're right about the fact that with the price of oil so low, we're cranking so much of it out of Texas now, that it is putting a heavy squeeze on the economy of the Russians. Certainly the sanctions is killing the Iranians, and the tariffs is putting some squeeze on the Chinese. And so you can only push people in a corner so far. So I think it's very interesting observation that you have here to see if the President of the United States decides at some point here to start to back off and to give them some breathing room, or where does this all wind up? So I think some pretty good observations you have here, Stan. On
I think you covered this the other day, did you, Paul, about the fuel shortage or the petrol shortage down in Australia?
Yes, I did.
Normally they have a 90-day supply normally.
Yep.
But we have a 700-day supply, but they have a 90-day supply, but now they're down to 28 days.
Yes.
And they're talking about rationing fuel because of the Iranians, putting oil tankers at risk so much that the Australians can't afford to try to get one through the blockade unless America or Great Britain or both go in there and stop it. So this is going to make the war situation between the U.S., Great Britain, and Iran, and Russia and Turkey accelerate. So I don't know if Trump and Mohammed bin Salman of Saudi Arabia and his son-in-law Kushner, if they're going to pull off this peace deal they've been talking about. But if they do, it'll be short-lived, I'm sure. But anyway, they're trying to do this 7-year peace treaty. We may be hit before that peace treaty is signed later this year, because America is kind of the police protector for, the big brother for Israel, and it holds back Iran and the forces in Russia and Turkey that want to get rid of Israel as a country. And if America goes and can't defend Israel, Iran will come in with these other allies and try to attack Israel. It'll be the last kind of big mistake they'll make, because Israel has a nuclear arsenal that is unbelievable, and they will use it. And the surrounding nations that survive, not us, will say, look, Israel, don't do any more nukes. What do you want? Let's make peace. That includes the Palestinians and a number of other nations in the area that want Israel gone. They're going to be scared to death. Now, if Israel, not worrying about the United States defending it, Israel can defend itself with this kind of weaponry. And they've got some really exotic nuclear type weapons that they can use. And they're going to be forced to use it. And so whether America is intact and ready to defend them at that time or not, Israel is going to bring the world to its knees in fear, and they will want that peace treaty. All the nations around will say, okay, look, let's make a treaty. And that'll be the 7-year treaty I'm pretty sure that Daniel speaks of. We're there. We're just there.
It's a great observation, because a lot of people ask this question all the time, Stan. Which comes first, the chicken or the egg? Well, in this subject, which comes first? War and then the peace deal, or a peace deal and then war? You've got a great observation, and that is, they're crawling all around Israel now, and people are, everybody's getting itchy, and Israel's not afraid. You're right. They're not afraid to use their weaponry on their enemies, and they will use it with full force, okay? They won't think twice. They won't ask Trump if it's okay. I mean, if they get to that point, and it's a very volatile time right now. You got the Knesset's been gone for 100 days. You got to do another election. Everybody's on edge. I mean, you're right. This thing is like the Middle East is like a powder keg right now, and we're going to keep our eyes open, watch it every day. And we need to be prepared here in America, and wherever you are watching this broadcast. We're praying for everybody, for peace, certainly. But the Bible, the prophecies of the Bible, as Stan just said, they are going to come to pass. And Israel will win, and it could bring the peace treaty that the Bible talks about. Stan, go ahead.
I'm just going to say that even if America, is wiped out and can't be helping Israel at that time, Mohammed bin Salman of Saudi Arabia is kind of foremost on my radar as being the Antichrist. And he is, with Jared Kushner, making this peace treaty, designing it for Israel and the surrounding nations. So with or without America, that peace treaty can go ahead. So we can be destroyed, and then the war flashes over there, and then the peace treaty is demanded by the surrounding nations and can be endorsed by Mohammed bin Salman.
Well, he's high on my list too to watch. Okay, no doubt about it. And we are watching some things happening, folks. Stan Deyo's with us. Stan Deyo, really on top of what's going on geopolitically and with the environment and everything taking place technologically. He's got a great company at www.empshield.com. Use the promo code Begley. Get a savings, protect your home, protect the car, protect the family, protect what you can do, and you have to get a generator, you got to store some food, but you got to protect your appliances in case of an EMP attack. Obviously, Russia's doing something, and they're not the only one. So are we. So a lot going on, folks. Stan, I appreciate you coming on, being with us. This has been a great conversation. As always, we learned so much from you of what's taken place, and so we appreciate you coming on, being with us tonight.
Thank you, Paul, and I hope you get better too.
Thank you. Yes, thank you. Pray for me. I need to get that ear cleared up. Maybe the Russians could blow something. Maybe some of that hot air can come blow over here, clear this out.
All right.
All right, folks. That's Stan Deyo, EMPShield.com. Check it out. And we'll be back later tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern. Our guest, Mike from around the world. We'll find out more about what's going on in these last days.
Lord bless you.